Bolland.
And Mark Lackey is the Executive Vice President at CHF Capital Markets. He joins us on a weekly basis. Mark, good to see you.
It's good to be here, Pat.
Back in the summer, copper was $3.
That's right.
Sitting
That's
three
right.
and a quarter. Hasn't done much over the last couple of months.
No, that's right, Pat. It's gone sideways in the last couple of months. I think that a couple of things have happened in the last 2 days which are interesting. We saw Hudbay make a bid for Augusta Resources, and today Highland bought Orvana. So 2 copper takeovers in 2 days. It tells me that certainly there are those people that see upward movement in the copper price. We anticipate copper to be about $375, $380 by the end of the year, and $425 by the end of next year.
Wow, 20% even this year. So how do we capitalize on this? Well,
Pat, I think what you want to look at is we've got 3 choices here today. 3 that we've actually mentioned the last time we were on. We haven't changed our view on the 3 we like. NovaCopper. The reason we like this, Pat, it's a spin out from Nova Gold. They weren't getting much traction for the copper play in the gold company, so they spun it out, which was a good move in 2012. It is a major deposit in Alaska. It's got top management. They've got millions of dollars of cash. And some of the drilling they've done initially is extremely positive. So I think this could be one of the bigger copper resources in the Western world. Their second pick, Tintina, actually has some of the same management people. This is a play in Montana.
As NovaCopper?
That's correct. That's correct. And Tintina has a significant play in Montana. Again, one of the bigger and higher graded plays. I should also mention a very high grade play that Nova has as well in Alaska. So the grades are high, and you've got quite a bit of volume. So Tintina, last time it was on, we've had a pretty good move in the stock since we were last on, and we continue to think that with copper prices going higher, that should continue.
If management is the same, why wouldn't they put the 2 of them together? Is that
Well, you know, I guess there are 2 reasons. Number one, I think part of the reason is that you're different jurisdictions, and some management's the same. I should be careful to point out some of the top management's the same. You have different geologists. You have people that know Alaska are obviously involved in Nova, and the operations people that are involved in Tintina are different. They obviously know Montana. So yeah, you're the chairman, people like that are the same. Some of the board members. But basically, the people doing the overall work are different, and they're specific to the jurisdictions that they're in.
Okay.
So it could make sense at some point, but I think they want to see what leverage they can get as separate entities at this point in time.
Does NovaGold still have a significant holding in NovaCopper?
Yes, it does. And that's another interesting part, that if you buy NovaGold, you still have some of the NovaCopper issue. Now, what they'll do with that over time remains to be seen.
Yeah. But still, it lowers the likelihood it would be ever taken over.
Well, you know, Pat, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, because you never know what the people at NovaGold are. If they can get they get a price that they like, they'll be quite happy, I think, to. I mean, they're primarily gold guys, the guys that have started NovaGold, but they have this excellent copper project which they spun out. But I think what's going on right now with 2 takeovers in the last 2 days, I think all 3 candidates here today could be takeovers at some point. I mean, NovaCopper is fairly advanced, say, compared to the third one. I was going to mention Freyja Resources, which they're just getting going, but they'll actually have some production relatively soon in the next year. And our reason for mentioning this company, Pat, is that the management was involved with ECU Silver and Diebrass, which are both silver and copper plays in northern Mexico. Very successful. And so now they've come back, and the management's playing a copper, quote, silver play in northern Mexico. So it's a place that they've been at for a long time, and they know the jurisdiction, they know the people, and they obviously know the land pretty well.
Northern Mexico, a safe jurisdiction?
Well, they are, yeah. I mean, look, you don't want to mine something in Juarez, right along the border. But if once you get down to where they are, I would say that it's very safe. I mean, people have this perception on the street sometimes that there's all kinds of problems in Mexico, but realistically, Pat, it's really the border towns. I mean, I wouldn't go to Tijuana or Juarez, but when you get away from a lot of the border towns, a lot of the problems dissipate, because clearly it's the drug trafficking in those border towns that are the issue.
Yeah. Mark, PDAC is coming up.
That's right.
Shortly. Will a lot of these style companies, the little small ones, be there? Or I heard there's a lot of big names coming as well.
Well, actually, it's a combination, Pat. We have a number of our clients that are on the small and mid-cap size that are going to be there. So I think that's positive, because there was some concern the way the venture market's gone the last couple of years that maybe a number of small people wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
But in fact, this year looks like an all-time record. So I'd actually say if if you go to PDAC, you're going to see a significant variance across big caps, small caps, and mid caps. So I think that's good because even the recent Roundup and Cambridge show at Vancouver was well attended, and that's largely small caps. So I think the tide is turning here.
Okay. Well, we'll look for that, and we'll see you next week. In the
See you
meantime.
next week. Yep.
Okay, Mark. Thanks very much.
Okay, Pat.
Mark Lackey, a Senior VP at CHF Capital Markets. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk about the corruption that keeps unfolding. It's like an onion in Montreal and Quebec. Don't go away.